friends, thanks for watching. Listening to Fast This Way by Dave Asprey, and one of my colleagues highly recommended his Bulletproof book, which I have found to be a good read. He's an engineer and has a very practical, accessible way of explaining things. So it's kind of interesting because he's not kind of like a doctor or a health coach, you know conventionally or even unconventionally a health coach. He's kind of found his just tremendous success following his own health journey, and he does it without apology and with authority. It's kind of impressive. And I was kind of avoiding watching his stuff or listening to his stuff because I'm just like, oh, he's everywhere. And I also feel like, so I listened to the Paleolithic Solution podcast with Rob Wolf and Andy Dees when they first started out. Or maybe, I mean, maybe I wasn't even listening to it when, at the actual time, but I found their podcasts and just started from, one to onward. And so my favorites were from the very first podcast to 65, because that's what I had downloaded to my iPod at the time. And I would listen to multiple episodes per night because I had really bad insomnia at the time. And it was a pain to download more. So I would just re-listen because there was just so much information in each podcast. And when one of the podcasts, Andy Dees was talking about how somebody should make a creamer, a paleo-friendly creamer for coffee. And it's interesting because Dave Asprey does not mention the paleo diet. He just goes straight to keto. And I just think that's I'm sure he listened to the Paleolithic Solution and maybe he got that idea of the paleo-friendly creamer from the Paleolithic Solution. He does say that he got the idea from yak butter tea he had in the Far East, which, yeah, that is a thing. So, but I speculate. This is just my personal conjecture. And I mean, no offense, Dave Asprey. It's just me chatting here. But I do want to point out, so that aside, my guessing aside, he's a good author and he's doing a good service to the world by taking just his work. So I just do think that's just what I think, because I was just listening to that podcast and then the Bulletproof thing comes out, I don't know, within a year or something of Andy D saying that. But so I just wanted to talk about in this book, Fast This Way, Dave Asprey mentions a study in 2020, last year, showed that isolation increased inflammation. And if anybody is paying attention to health stuff, we know that inflammation is a trigger for just every kind of illness. Pardon me, maybe allergies and sinus infection. But not only does isolation, just the stress of isolation, not only does it increase inflammation, it also increases blood clots. So I think this is highly significant because people are experiencing blood clots with the injection as well. And I think there's been so much obfuscation of everything that perhaps it's not even from the injection that people are getting blood clots, or maybe it's exacerbated by the isolation and the masks. So I think all this cutting edge science has actually told the globalists how to kill humans most effectively. And I think it's up to us to up our game about being healthier, being more proactive, like wire your devices, avoid Wi-Fi. You can wire your phone. Um, there's these little it's a can't remember the name, lightning Tor, and it's basically like a little mini um, plug that you just plug in, connect your phone to your internet, and uh, and then you're not experiencing all the cell phone pinging as much. So we that's one little thing, and making sure like your indoor air is as clean as it can be, making sure your water is as clean as it can be. And I know there's all this controversy about like which types of water, spring water, reverse osmosis water, distilled water, and I'm still trying to figure it out because I'll try these different waters and like I'll taste something bitter in a reverse osmosis water, and I'm like, well, is it the jar? Um, so anyway, I think like I like spring sparkling water, spring, sparkling spring water, and I think it also depends on your local environment. Are they spraying a lot of pesticides? Like I'm in farm country right now, and I definitely I think my health is definitely worse having relocated to Rapid. But where I was before in Virginia, it was very humid, moldy there. So I keep on trying to do a relocation, hoping to avoid something, but it just seems like every place is, there's just a problem. Like there's a lot of cell phone towers here, like almost more than a major city. Like one guy that was selling organite was telling me, and I noticed, I looked it up myself last week. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of cell phone towers here and just 5G and whatever. So it's hard to know where to live, but just know that isolation increases inflammation and blood clots, and the mainstream news is informing scientists and doctors. So scientists and doctors that are pushing the mainstream narrative don't know. They're not operating from actual science. So don't trust what you're hearing in the mainstream news, in my opinion. And use your common sense. What worked before, like chicken soup and rest and drinking warm liquids and loving family and supportive friends and nature and happy things, like that is going to help you, rather than hand sanitizer and an injection and going to strangers for directions about the fate of your life and your child's life and your parents' life, your elderly parents' life. Except when have strangers ever made the best decision for you? They didn't work for you in the past, and they're not going to work for you now. And strangers are not going to make the best decisions for you or your children in the future. It's really up to you. And I trust that you have intelligence and common sense and courage to really know what's in your heart and know the know the have some common sense. Your brain is like, pay attention to what you see. And what one last thing I'll say is that there's a lot of people who disclose what they are, but there's this arrogant invalidation. There's probably another word for it, a better word for it, but like Elon Musk was like, I'm an alien. He's being interviewed on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was like, how do you have all these good ideas and stuff? And Elon Musk was like, I'm an alien. Now, there's a lot of ways you could take that, but when somebody tells you something like that, and everybody's supposed to laugh, um, I think it's also they're telling you exactly the truth. And this diabolical, demonic reality we are in is there's so many lies, so much so that the truth can be told, and people will be skeptical or think it's a joke, because in this very demonized reality we're in, the the like satanic agenda does such horrible things on such a vast scale. We in ways that they do, the satanic folks do things that we could not even imagine. So when it's actually disclosed, oh, this is what the satanic people are doing, it's so hard for a non-satanic person to believe or conceive of that, where we just deny that it exists. So then the Satanists just get to continue it because we can't handle the truth. So pardon me, my throat's a little dry. So there was one other thing I wanted to say. Thank you for your patience. So a lot of famous people, they make disclosures, like Oprah made some disclosures. They're like very like famous female role models, you know, time and time again, they'll say, I'm a man. And it's because a lot of these superstars are male to female transsexuals, because a size 0 man is able to get to a very emaciated weight. And so when you have a size 0 man who becomes a female to male transsexual, and pardon me, and they become a role model for biological women. So you have a size 0 man who's a who's so he's size 0, he's starving himself. And then you have the entire female population trying to look like a size 0 man who's starving themselves. And it's just biologically impossible, because biological women have extra fat and they have curves. So anyways, there's all these biological men who they become actors in modeling and movies and music. And they say that they're a man, or they say that they've sold their souls to the devil. Countless videos where this disclosure occurs. And people are so arrogant. They're like, oh, you're lying. All these people keep on saying it. But the public is like, oh, you're just joking. No, it's they mean it. They're telling you the truth. So people, you're all about like how compassionate you are or whatever. Listen to, like, believe these people when they're saying what they say. They're not joking around. They don't say it like they're joking, because they're not joking. They're telling the truth. So a lot of these like so-called women are not, and a lot of men are not men. Everybody's doing a reversal, a gender reversal, and it's part of this satanic black magic thing where things are upside down, reversed, inside out, and it's about disorder and disruption and spiting God, spiting the order that God created. And what God created was man and woman. And what's another one? I feel like I'm missing something. And biblically, marriage is between a biological man and a biological woman. And in the distant past, I was in the Bay Area. A lot of my friends were gay, and I was just being supportive of what I thought was, an unfortunate group of people that had, a difficult circumstance. And uh, but now, I regret my support of the gay community, because now drag queens not wearing underwear are reading library story hour to kindergartners, and they're rolling around on the floor. Now the pedo movement is part of the LGBT movement. Like, this is absolute insanity. Now, child prostitution, like in 2017, they legalized it in California. They rationalized, they legalized child prostitution in California in 2017. They were trying to say they're protecting the children, so children don't have to go to jail. Like this, and the whole pedogate thing is like this. There's a organized pedophile network internationally. 800,000 people are abducted a year. So, then this video can't go into all of the craziness of that. But anyway, like, pedophilia seems to be like it's linking, it's made its alliance with the LGBT movement. And I don't understand why the LGBTQ movement is failing to dissociate from the pedophile movement. That's just and somehow, for some reason, there seems to be something with totalitarianism and pedophilia. If you look at the Antifa flag, it has the same profile as the pedo flag, and the satanic stuff is all symbology. Symbols are very powerful, and if you look at the flags, I'll see if I can find it. They have the same profile, same picture. So here is a pedophile ad, so vile, romanticizing pedophilia, and this is on Facebook, and this is what the agenda, the world agenda is. There's something they get some power from destroying children, and this is not a preference, or this is unnatural, this is evil. And so there's two flags. So there's the rainbow flag, red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo. This looks like there's another layer. And if we look really close at this flag, so there's a black flag underneath that, and I don't know what that means. Does anybody know what a black flag in that inner flag is? Anyway, this looks a lot like the Antifa flag, right? Wouldn't you say? So I think this is significant. And I did a little research, and the inner flag, it represents coming, like attacking from within. So pedophilia is something that you attack within, I guess, the family unit, or you attack within the community, or within the country. And same thing with Antifa. It's not an external war, an outright apparent war. It's an internal war. So loving grandmothers and loving parents, they subsidize, or they support, or they shelter this Antifa, Black Lives Matter terrorist. They just like really believe in the person in black, setting fire to things, attacking elderly white people, attacking white young people that say that all lives matter. And because there's people who are supporting the Antifa, Black Lives Matter people, that like communities and families. I'm sure the Antifa folks are getting paid by Soros. Um, there's a lot of evidence of advertisements on Craigslist for working, and there's evidence of Antifa being bused from one area to another area. Apparently, that happened where a bunch of terrorists, domestic terrorists, were just on a bus and dropped off, and locals, I'm not going to say where because I don't want to, that to be a target, but a lot of locals just brought their own guns and they defended the area from these terrible people, these Antifa Black Lives Matter terrorists. And I have friends who are like, oh, they're not that bad, or no, they're annoying. No, these people are terrorists. Portland still on fire? Like, how can anybody believe in this at this rate? Um, just I don't know. We're in some strange times, but like pedophilia is evil. It is abusing children, and the fact that I even having to say that just shows that we're in some horrible times. And as you can see, the Antifa and the pedo flag are the same two flags going in this leftward direction. I don't know if it's like a left-hand path of the Masons. They believe in child rape. I'm so sorry to have to say this, but like they give evidence in their symbols and out of their mouths, and we need to believe them when they say these outrageous things, because that's how they're kind of manipulating it's like a type of magic that they use. So I won't go into that because I could go like that's a whole other ball of wax. But thank you so much for oh, and I'm seeing that my screen sharing didn't capture this. So let's see. I'm hoping so screen sharing is paused. I'm so sorry, folks, if okay, so I'm hoping this is doing the screen share. Oh, let's see. Zoom share. So it looks like I'm gonna have to create a new image because that whole thing I just talked about was not visible, was it? All right, let's see. Go. Thank you for your patience, everybody. This has happened to me before where I think I'm sharing the screen and it doesn't share what I'm seeing on my screen. So this is the what I was talking about, how the Antifa flag there is the same direction as the pedophile flag. And I got this from this Facebook for pedophile pride ad. I mean, just what are we coming to, folks? TED Talk is supporting this, and this is like the CIA has these symbols as like what they look for criminal activity, and here we are, where criminals are featured as what we should be sympathizing about. Anyways, this is the flags. It's got the same shape, same profile as the Antifa flag. So I think it's a type of, it is a type of terrorism, what pedophiles do. And it's happening also online with children somehow being coerced to compromise their privacy and where they're blackmailed, children are blackmailed by these horrible people, and the government doesn't even back them up. So it's just people need to find Lord Jesus Christ because this is demonic, and it seems like the system is on these horrible criminals' side, and just by virtue of them saying they can't do anything or they won't do anything, and it's just horrible. Uh, so you need to protect your children, and and best protection is under Lord Jesus Christ in the kingdom of Lord Jesus Christ, and just protect their souls, because this current horror that we're living in, like, um, I mean, a lot of people seem to be thinking everything's okay, but personally, I think this is just a nightmare. And anyways, what do you guys think? God bless.